It's 2:45 in Springfield, Oregon. Do you know where your Muse is? Dum, 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 Hello, live from Springfield, Oregon. It's the Authentic Human Being Show. Yeah! This is Springfield Johnny, also known as John Gregory Presco, and I'm coming to you with another installment of Tales of the Artful Stalker. Oh man, it's to be handed one of the greatest storylines in the world doesn't come very often. It's a miracle. Thank you, Rena Easton. Thank you for handing me the greatest storyline in history's annals of art, poetry, music. I mean, the Greek gods to know this one. This is so totally authentic, so new, so real. You know, where the Muse comes out of the past 44 years and finds my address. I didn't give it to her. I didn't know where she was, and she finds my address on the internet, and she writes me a letter. Oh shoot, I have to get that letter. And I respond to it. What can go wrong here? You know, I'm inspired, you know, this is, you know, but she was 18 years old, she was one of the most beautiful women you're ever going to see. Plus, you know, there was a lot going on in her mind, a lot. You know, she's apparently got a photographic memory, and, you know, everything that goes in there stays there, you know. And so I respond to this, like, I don't know, carrot on a stick or whatever, you know, this, and all of a sudden, you know, the traps, you know, I got stalking charges, you know, set on me by, you know, by the sheriff of Montana, you know. We went in there with, you know, these letters that she memorized and reconstructed, which blows my mind. I mean, who can believe this? You know, it's just, you know, you know, and the sheriff was going to go, oh, there's nothing supernatural about this, you know. You know, this woman being able to memorize this letter she wrote me, and to memorize the letter I wrote her, it's like 5 pages each. And he's going, oh, well, that's normal, you know. Okay, let's see if this guy's absolutely whacked out, see. So that's where we are. You know, we got to start looking closely at our dangerous, whacked out artists and types, you know, to really see, you know, if they're capable of stalking their muse. Or anybody for that matter, you know. You know, so I decided to change my brand, my moniker, you know, from whacked out artists, you know, from the big city, you know, to urban cowboy artist, you know, businessman. Hey, I'm in art for the business, you know, just like my sister, you know. I expect to make a couple $1 million in the next 5 years. I'm just a normal, you know, Mr. Nice Guy, cowboy artist, you know. See, do I look dangerous to anybody? Heck, I'm just trying to make a living, just like every good redneck human being, you know, in America. You know, I'm normal, see. That's kind of the disguise that my muse, Rena Easton, you know, put on me. Says, oh, you know, I'm very surprised that I'm a redneck woman. You know? just doing my redneck thing, yeah, like memorizing letters and, you know, from, you know, no one does that. No redneck does that. Shame on you. This is not only the, you know, and I just started this painting. I've only worked on this thing, I don't know, maybe 6 hours total, and then, you know, she took over. She took over my whole being. You know, she started, you know, I'd go to the, well, I mean, you know, this is what started, you know, I said that she came into my bed, her ghost or something, you know, and I jumped out of my bed, of course, because, you know, there's something supernatural here going on. I'm getting visited by this 18-year-old Muse of mine. See, I don't know her as a 60-year-old person. See, I don't know what she is now. See, but I knew back then she was something else. Not only did she have the beauty, she had the brains, and from what I hear, she now has the brawn. She really crunches it at the gym. So I respond to her. Now I'm accused of stalking her. Well, not this person, the person, whoever that person is in this trailer on this hill in Montana. I don't know that person. But she presented herself as normal, you know, a redneck, and hey, glad to meet you. Yeah, partner, we're just two rednecks, Muse and artists now. Just having our fun like artists and Muse has been having for 1,000 years, you know? Yep, going to make $1 million. Yeah, there's no stalking going on here. So anyway, you know, I had her arm up here, you know, like in the original photo, but I'm not going to show it to you because then, you know, kind of holding on to this branch. But now, since she's sicked the law on me, you know, she's holding this, the scales of justice, the scales of redneck cowboy justice, you know, justice will be served in Montana. Isn't that cool? You know? But the other thing I was considering, oh, I did consider this. Look at this. Time is up, Mr. Brasco. You've had your way with me, you know. Come, when this sand runs out, you know, you're going to be, you know, cast into the creative pit of dead artists who've been killed by their muses, suicided or whatever. You know, my time is really, you know, short, you know. I mean, the relationship between a muse and artist can't last forever. You know, this is it, you know. We're actually seeing, you know, to a new media now. We've got a camera, the death of the artist and the muse. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal that we get to see this. You know, I thought it's worthy of being filmed for a documentary. You know, this might end up in a museum someday, so, you know, I don't think it could be used in a court of law as proof that I'm crazy, you know, that I'm capable. The other thing I was looking, which I almost did, which I still might do, is have Rena hold up a lantern because she's looking for an honest man. Well, that's all changed. Maybe over here, because what she's looking for is someone that she knows is not stalking her. Because I think she's filed other stalking charges against men that have pursued her. Well, they pursued her because this is a very beautiful woman. So the stalking report, you know, has probably worked for her, made her feel safe, and probably some real, I don't know, dangerous guys, you know, that would take no for an answer. And I think this happens to a lot of beautiful women. And the other possibility for what goes in his hand is the whole world. Beauty has the whole world in her hand. She's got the whole wide world in her hand. See, and that's a frightening proposition for a beautiful woman to realize the power they have in this world, the power of the men, and the opportunities they have to utilize their power as beautiful women. But no one's ever really defined how to do this. See, we have all these books and books and books on how to be an artist, but how many books are there how to be a muse? See, no. See, this is, I should write it. I'm writing it right now. This is part of it. You know, how to be a muse. You know, and live to tell about it. So, okay, well, yeah, well, 1970, Rena and I are walking down the street. We're living in this tent in this backyard, a friend's house, and she loved it. She was happy to be in that tent. I couldn't understand why she was happy. I now know, because she's a recluse. And, you know, let me get into that later. So, we go past the store, and she stops and says, "No, you know," she says, "I think this is my sister on this cover of magazine." You know, and I forget what it was, a Life or a Look or something. And she was looking at it, you know, to see if her sister is a beautiful model, half-sister, I guess, is on the cover of this July issue, you know, that's when we met, of Look, and there is actually some girls that were shot for Life magazine, for California girls in their bikinis. So I think Rena's half-sister did say that her sister was going to be on that cover, but, you know, there's sort of a fight to be on the cover, so maybe she got, you know, bumped. But, you know, and so when I show you the article on the internet, Rena's sister might be amongst these other bikini-clad, you know, splashing into the water, running down the beach in their beautiful bikinis. But I did find this one. This is from February 10th, 1970. And it's a 70s swim strip. So this is probably Look's response to the Life article, you know, on California bikini-clad beauties. See, this is what launched the dream. See, 1970. You know, wish they all could be California girls. You know, the British invasion. See, but then there's the invasion of these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful women. And Rena was a part of that. She came out from Nebraska, and she brought her bikini, and she was down there in Venice, showing off her beautiful, beautiful body. She's almost 6 feet tall, you know. So when you see someone like this walking on the beach, we know what? Men follow them, you know. You know, this Deputy Sheriff Dan, I mean, he's actually becoming, you know, a star of my books and everything. This whole media event that I'm doing around Rena here. Let me just show you this. For the law enforcement people and psychologists. And there's my friend Hollis, who was a homeless vet who I helped. The kindness of my heart. Helped him get us a new place, drove him around all over town, and had him over every Sunday for dinner, you know. Paid for his funeral. Okay? Stalkers don't do that. They're selfish, narcissistic people. So here's Hollis's gloves. Hollis's gloves on my ex-good friend. Yeah, Hollis would stand up in front of Safeway, you know, with these gloves and his hat on, collecting cans. And after he died, people loved him. Most of the employees that worked at Safeway loved him. They would, they say, man, every time I get out of the car in the parking lot, I look over there to see whether Hollis is there. I can't help it, you know. And every time I look at that empty space, I start crying. I mean, this was a very loved man, and you know, this is because he was very giving, and he really was interested in what people were doing, the lives. He had wonderful little dreams for everybody that he shared, you know. He knew everybody's name, he knew their children's name, he knew their dogs' names. Anyway, this is my magic wand. Yep. I got one. Shh, back. You know, Seymour Hoffman passed away. You know, he was a heroin addict in the village. You know, and we were back. I guess it was the 70s. They had all these junkies used to watch that show that they just did a movie about. What was it? I just had it on the tip of my tongue, about vampires. You know, it was a soap opera. You know, Barnabas. You know, come on, it'll come to me. So junkies in New York would sit around and watch Barnabas and these vampires. You know, like religiously. Whatever they were doing, all the junkies in New York and probably the world, you know, America, they would put down what they're doing, stop slamming with the needles, and they'd watch Barnabas, you know, the vampire. And so they remade a movie. Boy, my memory's just going. They got too many things going here at once. So they made this movie, and it was a real flop. You know, I think they were hoping that the junkies would get into this movie, and they could make another serial. You know, they captured the vampire junkie audience out there. Well, you know, I think we're kind of looking at me doing this right here, me and my Muse. You know, the tales of the artful stalker. Okay? You know, this will be like a soap opera, you know, a reality show, you know. Because there's more crazy shit, more mysterious, you know, vampire, witchy stuff going on, you know, right here in these films I'm making than anything you could make up. So this is very, very, very possibly going to be a reality show. You know, see when Christine and Rena met, there we were around here like Snow White, and you know, we're the seven dwarfs. There's this beautiful creature there, and all of a sudden, Christine is just kind of looking into her. You know? I could tell that Rena did not like that. She didn't like anybody, you know, going into the facade. Beyond the facade. And boy, the first thing we got out of the house, you know, Rena had to dress that because I guess it bugged her all night. She's trying to sleep, you know. She says, you know, I don't think your sister likes me. And I says, oh, well, why do you say that? See, the mystery began, John. Why don't you think my sister, the world-famous artist, doesn't like you? Huh? Well, she kept staring at me. Staring at her. She's staring, stalking, staring, looking. Look magazine. You get this whole thing between this relationship, you know, the artist and the muse, you know, you look at her, she inspires you, and you do all these masterpieces. You say, oh, this is supposed to work. You know, this is a good use gone bad, you know, story here. So So I said, Rena, well, you know, my sister's, she's psychic. All her friends are very beautiful, and she was just checking you out, seeing if she could see the inner you. You know, you know, whoa, you know, the inner you of the Muse. I mean, this is, I mean, this is really dangerous ground here. See, you know, the artist wants to look inside, look into my eyes. You know, all the stories in the world come from this archetypal story. You know, this is Lilith and Adam, you know, in the garden, you know, whole thing, you know. And, of course, this beautiful 18-year-old girl has just got this facade you won't believe. She doesn't let anybody behind it. Anybody, you know. So, I think it was, I don't know, 8 months later, you know, I bring up Rena to, when I came with those photographs of the painting I did of Rena that Christine's looking at my mother's house with my niece there. And, you know, I recall her looking at Rena like that, and I say, Christine, why were you looking at her so hard? And she says this. She reminded me of one of those women on the horror movie shows, you know, Vampirella, you know, the host of Vampirella. She reminded Christine of a vamp. True, this is true. I know all you junkies out there, believe me. Oh my God, so, all right, well, let's go to it. First, this is the piece of marble that fell off the Stutmeister tomb. You know, we have a tomb of our German ancestors, the Stutmeisters, in Como, San Francisco, and they were dug up from their graves. See, evicted from Laurel Hill Cemetery that was inside the city, and they moved out to Como. And my great-great-grandfather made this beautiful tomb with a copper, you know, big brass ornate gate on it, a Tiffany window, his wife's name on it, and a rose, see? And a rosebud. So I took this. This fell off in an earthquake, I forget, the big one they had in '92. So this is a piece of marble. Are we getting there? See, put all this together now. You know, magic wand, Muse, marble from the tomb of the ancient Stutmeisters. Slowly I turn. All right, but this is the piece of the resistance. Right here. This was taken from the rock at McClure's Beach. The rock that I fell on in 1967. And you just see it right there. The scar where a piece of this rock like this tore into my hand as I was sliding down from the summit. The setting sun was just on the top of it, and I'm sliding down, trying to stop myself from going over the edge. But a 100-foot drop, and this rock goes into my hand, and that hurt like a motherfucker because I was on one of the most powerful doses of LSD ever made. I knew the people who manufactured. I knew the brother that between love, and we'd gone to McClure's Beach, my two friends, to drop acid, and then we decided to climb this rock. And bad idea. When we got to the summit, the LSD hit, and it's really hard, there I am with my feet dangling over the edge. I'm looking down on sea lions on these rocks down there. And my thought is, okay, well, you know, your life starts passing through you. I said, these sea lions are going to watch me fall off this rock. And I'm just going to be coming at them, you know, and they're going to be looking up and, you know, what the fuck? Here comes another one, crazy hippies, Mildred. Yeah, I don't know why they got to go take some LSD and get all whacked out and then go to the beach. So that's the rock, see? And this rock looks very much like one of the rocks in Christine's painting. It looks very much like the rock at Rocky Point. And Christine was hiking down right about here, and you know, and oh, here comes a rogue wave, run, run, everybody. And everybody else, 3 other people, they made it, but the rogue wave washed Christine, Rosamond, Benton out. You know? See, so I got this letter from Rena. I didn't know it was from Rena. Till I opened it, I saw Bozeman, Montana. I went, I gasped, and then I opened it up, the initial mail thing box it was in, and in it was the envelope, and it said Rosamond. See, Rosamond, Rosebud. No. A lot to work with here. You know, all artists got their props. You know. You know, they don't just rely upon their muse to inspire them, you know. There'll be all kinds of things going on here. You know. Check that out, huh? Right. Sort of a Spanish look, you know. They put some castanets in there, and Rena the dancer, you know, is you know, doing some California, you know, the California thing down in Los Angeles. And here's some paints I got yesterday for 50 cents a piece. Look at that, it's like Easter eggs, you know. Here, you know, he has risen. Yes, he was tortured and slaved and slapped and beat and whipped, but now he's risen. You know, let's go look for some Easter eggs, you know. Yeah, right. You know, when you're looking for your muse these days, beware. So anyway, now we've got these stretchers bars because I'm going to do a painting of the great Rosamond. See? So almost could be life size because no one's ever did her portrait. You know, what a crime. You know, no one's ever painted a portrait of Christine Rosamond, who did about 10 paintings using herself as a model. And I got these plates I'm going to use up at the corners. Wow, I got some tacks to put that in there, you know, hammering the tacks. You know, making a stretcher bar is really like making a cross for an artist because you're staring at a new beginning, you know, an epiphany, you know, every empty piece. Even before you put the gesso, the white gesso on the canvas, you're dealing with the unknown. You're dealing with realms that are truly, truly overwhelming, unknown, and we now know dangerous. You know, so artists beware. And they should start putting that on all artist equipment. See, beware, user beware. Your muse might turn on you, or she might be stalking you. You know, so we don't want to make that a case. So you know, I got my all-seeing eyeball here. I've shown you that. It turns colors and stuff.